who actually left all of her money to her grandson, okay? And when he turns 50, so her daughter wouldn't get any of it. Mm, boy, the stories that I get after people start, unraveling, going from here to here. Okay, I don't mean unravel in the negative sense. I mean, people go through life like this, okay? Some people don't know how to get out of this, okay? This represents closed. It represents like this, okay? This represents closed. Okay, now sometimes it's out of fear. Sometimes it's out of indecision. Sometimes it's out of not knowing what to do. Okay, so in this instance, this lady, um, you know, we started by just getting her confident. So we started working on her confidence. Pretty soon she became confident. And one day she comes into my office and she goes, "Guess what?" Now, whenever I hear "guess what" from my clients, right, I go, "Oh wow, here comes another story," right? And these are success stories. And these success stories, a lot of them are in my book. Okay, that's what the book is about. It's about people's development, but it's not about singing per se. It's about the law of attraction and how your voice can make you calm inside, and that leads to breakthroughs. So this was a breakthrough that she was telling me about. And she goes, "Well, I finally moved out of my daughter's house." And I'm like, "Really?" She goes, "Yeah, I moved out of my daughter's house and now I'm with my friends." She was at retirement age. She goes, "I'm with my friends and now we're drinking wine and we're having fun and we're talking story and we're doing what we want to do." And so I was like, "Oh, okay." And she goes, "And the big news." And I go, "Oh, here it comes," right? She goes, "The big news is that I left all my money to my grandson. But when he turns 50, so my daughter doesn't get any of it." And I'm like, dun dun dun. I'm like that. That's what went off in my head, right? I'm like, whoa. So she must have been going through something, okay? Because she was living with her daughter. Okay. She didn't have the guts to move out. She didn't have the confidence to move out. We can say it that way. Okay. But she felt stuck. Okay. So when people are like this, okay, this means stuck. This means keeping to yourself. This means not knowing what to do. This means, right? All of that, being closed, as opposed to being open. And my job is to open them up like that. So when I heard that, I was like, whoa, that must have been bad. I didn't ask questions. I mean, it's not my business to, ask somebody like what's going on in their life. I don't ask. Okay, but I will tell you something that the difference between what I do in therapy is with what I do, you never need to say what's wrong. It'll just fix it. Energy, frequency, vibration, and velocity through the human voice. It works in my life coaching. It's worked at my voice school. It works in everything. Okay. But it works for confidence. Now, the way it works for confidence is through oxytocin and endorphins. Okay. Your neurotransmitters of your brain. Now, this is not just singing. Okay. This is velocity. This is strength. This is projecting tones with power. Okay. And when you do that, you set off these hormones. When you set off the hormones, okay, so I'm not going to call it treatments because we make no medical claims, okay? But military people come to me for PTSD, okay? Regular people, in fact, a psychologist send people to me. Two of them, I'm not supposed to know that they're doing it. It's not, it's not legal for them to say. But anyway, right? So that happens. Now, this one lady, I remember, she was sent to me from a psychologist that I know. And so I happened to tell her, "Hey, so say hi to so and so." And she was about maybe, I want to say 7 months with me, right? And she goes, "Oh, I haven't seen him in months." I'm like, "Really?" She goes, "Yeah, when I came to you, I stopped seeing him." And this is because it's a holistic, natural approach to eliminating fear. What is anxiety? Fear. Okay, all the negative emotions, we went through that yesterday. All the negative emotions are rooted in fear. Okay, but the story about this lady, right, this grandmother, that totally turned her life around. And the reason why is because she saw what I did with her grandson. Her grandson was very quiet, very to himself, okay, and he became more outward, more extroverted. Okay, he became more extroverted. So, she wanted to try. She goes, "You think this will work on me?" I said, "Oh, yeah." And I even gave her a free day. Okay, so I saw her twice. I saw her twice a week. Okay, and then I moved her to once a week for 1 hour. And yeah, in 7 months, she got confident, moved out of her daughter's house, and left all of her money to her grandson when he turns 50. He's not 50 yet, okay? But just the fact that she did that so that her daughter wouldn't get any of it kind of spoke volumes to me. Okay, it spoke volumes. Anyway, lendalifecoaching.com. You can go to the website and sign up. We do everything like this. We do everything over FaceTime. And right now, so my Facebook is up there. That's where I'm talking to her on. And then down here is our international camera. So down here, we're on Trovo in Europe. We're on Twitch. We're on TikTok. And we're on YouTube, as well as another Facebook channel. So sure, I'll just put it in the comments, Linda, and I'll respond to your comment. No worries. Good morning, Naomi. So thank you. You are awesome too. So I hope you like it. I hope you're liking it up there. I hope everything is good for you up there. So anyway, right? Sometimes people hold these things in and they become like this. Life makes you become like this, okay? And when life this could be defensive. This could be just to yourself. This could be hiding. A lot of people hide in here. Okay, this is a good place to hide. They hide in here. Okay. And it's not a good place to hide, or it's not a good thing to do, because you need to come out. You need to express yourself. You need to express life. You are life. And you need to express yourself as life. And you need to express yourself in life. Okay? Now, we teach people how to manifest better lives. That's what we do. Okay? Now, how do you do this? Well, if you're feeling trapped in here, okay, if you're feeling kind of like this in here, okay, the first thing we do is we open people up through their voices. Okay, now I do it with my CEOs, I do it with my professionals. So these are professional people that I do with my life coaching. So I do it with my professionals, and they don't sing. They're not singers. It's not about singing. It's about triggering neurotransmitters. It's about your oxytocin. It's about your endorphins. It's about increasing GABA levels. It's about decreasing the fight or flight syndrome. Okay? So your cortisol levels, it's about decreasing those. Now, when you decrease cortisol levels, what happens? You decrease fear. Okay? Fear starts to subside. Okay, now I'm not talking about fear in the sense that you normally discuss fear. Okay, I'm not talking about, like the kind of fear when you're in the movie theater and the spooky movie comes on and you go, oh, like that. I'm not talking about that kind of fear. I'm talking about an underlying current, okay, an underlying vibration that is at the root of hesitation, procrastination, okay, all those things. Okay, reluctancy. When you're reluctant to do something, there's a little fear at the bottom. Hi, Bianca. Good morning, Bianca. Good morning, Great Minds. So we're watching the TikTok feed. Jay will be with you guys pretty soon. Jay is our moderator. But the underlying fear of all of this, okay? So all the negative emotions are rooted in fear. That's what you need to know. How do you get around that? What's the opposite of fear? A lot of people will say bravery. No, love is at the other end. Okay, so love is over here, fear is over here, and there's a dividing line right here. All the negative emotions are over here. All the positive emotions are over here. And the very highest frequency is love. The very lowest frequency is fear. Okay, now, what about the media? Does the media keep you in fear? Do a lot of things keep you in fear? I'm talking about things in general, in society. Yeah. You know why? Because if you can keep someone in fear, you can control them. You can control someone if they're in fear. Okay, is someone in a relationship keeping you in fear? Okay, it doesn't have to be domestic violence. It doesn't have to be that. Okay? But if they're keeping you in fear, like, well, if you don't do this, then, I'm leaving. I'm going to leave you, whatever. Then you're operating in fear. You see? Now, when you're operating in fear, you're not natural, your life path is not naturally unfolding. You are not naturally living your life path. Okay? So when you are happy, when you are joyful, when you are cheerful, when you are loving, okay, when you're in that state, everything unfolds naturally. Everything unfolds naturally. But when you're not, when you're hesitating, are you going to unfold if you're hesitating? No, you're hesitating. Okay? You're hesitating. You're coming more like this, then you're becoming like this. Okay? Those are just visuals. Okay? You're becoming more like this than like this. You want to be open. Okay? Some of my clients that come to me, they go, it's really hard to be open because the last time I was open, I got hurt. Last time I was open, it worked against me. But here's the thing. Love is a strength. Okay? Love is power. Fear is not a strength. Okay? Fear is weakness. Love is strength. Good morning, Maria. Nice to see you again this morning. Morning, Ira. Hi, Bianca. So, love is a strength. When you're loving, okay, or let's say when you're joyful, okay, it's a strength. And that's why it is said that the kingdom is in here, okay? Because everyone who told you the kingdom is in here, it's in the Bhagavad Gita, it's in the Bible, it's in the Quran, it's in the Torah, it's in every holy book. The good side, the goodness, is a strength. When you're being good to somebody, when you're being kind to somebody, it's a strength. The funny thing is I have these relationship people. So I have people that come to me for relationships. And mostly I get husbands that are maybe, just a little ways away from a divorce. And they come to me because they need to turn things around. And so I help them turn things around. And one of the things that we discuss is because women are hardwired for survival, when a man is good to them, right? Their spidey senses perk up and they go, whoa, what is that? So they don't react well to that, okay? Because they're hardwired for survival. So when you're nice to a woman, right, or you do something kind for a woman or something, it's looked as, they look at it as weakness, okay? But love is a strength. Doing good things for people is a strength. Okay, so let's go over the manifestation process because that's something that we always do every morning. Okay, now how do you manifest things? Well, let's first discuss what manifestation is and how it happens. Is it magic? No. Is it witchcraft? No. You were engineered. This one, okay? You, okay, were engineered to manifest everything into your life. Okay? You weren't born to work on a plantation. You weren't born to, be in a system where everything else prospers except you. Okay? It's your subconscious. There's only three things: your conscious, your subconscious, and superconscious. The superconscious is consciousness, or if you will, God, or whatever label you put on that. Okay? So, but that's what we're all plugged into. If you look at it like a computer, okay, your conscious mind is your operating system. The frontal lobe of your brain thinks a million thoughts a day, right? Okay, then you have the subconscious. That's where your programs are stored. Okay, a belief is a thought you keep thinking, and it goes into your subconscious as a program if you keep thinking it. The longer you think the thought, the more of a belief it becomes. Okay, then there's the superconscious. The superconscious is like the network that we're all plugged into. Okay, the law of one, the universal law of one, says that we're all connected. Okay, it's not just human beings that are connected. Animals are connected, plants are connected, the trees talk to each other, but they talk to each other through the roots. They don't communicate like we do, but they communicate. Okay, dolphins, they communicate. Fish, they communicate. The entire universe is intelligent. Everything communicates. They don't communicate like we do with words, but they communicate. Okay, and more science is proving all of this. Quantum physics is proving a lot as well. Okay, but let's talk about the manifestation process. The first thing you need to do is clarity of intention is number one. Be clear on what you want to manifest. Or let's say it another way, be clear on what your goal is. Some people want material things, some people want love, some people want a better job, some people, right? So there's different things that people want. So be clear, clearly define what you want, be specific, because when you're vague, right? And I did this before. I was talking about this yesterday on the live. Okay, I just wrote down that I wanted to meet a girl. I wanted to meet a. I was testing prayer, right? So I wrote it down and I said a prayer and I thought, well, God's probably not gonna bring me a girl because that's probably a sin, right? Wrong. She showed up. Okay, she showed up on Thanksgiving Day. Um, Called my house. I was closed. My business was closed. I used to teach in my studio. I had a recording studio in my house, and I used to teach at my house, and I was closed. And she goes, but I really, really want to, I wanted to do this, and I just want to come check it out. And I'm like, okay. And when she showed up, she was exactly what I prayed for. Okay. So, and I'm not kidding. So that happened. This was years and years ago. Okay. So that happened, right? Now, when that happened, I was like, whoa, okay, how did that happen? It happens through your subconscious, okay? Now, your subconscious communicates with the superconscious, which is God or consciousness, okay? Everybody believes differently about the superconscious, and that's okay, okay? That's fine, but that's the process. So, first, conscious mind, subconscious, and then superconscious, okay? So anyway, that happened, right? And then I thought, wow, let me continue testing this. So I continued testing it, and every time I tested it, it came out. Okay, but here's the thing, right? You have to be specific, because if you're not specific, in other words, if you say, "Oh, please God, please bring me a new car," you might get a new, I don't know, Toyota, when really you would probably want a Mercedes or a BMW or whatever. I'm just saying be specific. Okay, so instead of I want more money, okay, say I am earning $10,000 a month doing the work I love. That kind of affirmation. Okay, now how do affirmations work? Well, affirmations work because they go into your subconscious. Okay, your subconscious communicates with the superconscious or with higher self or with God. Leo, good morning. Thank you very much. And then what happens? Well, then things start coming into play. Okay, you may look at them as coincidences, but things start happening for you. Okay, a way will be made. And then it starts coming together. You start meeting people that will take you to your goal. You start getting an extra job, maybe another income source, and you start proceeding to your goal. Pretty soon, you have what you wished for. And that's why they say be careful what you wish for, because you will get it. Now, the people that live random lives get random stuff. People that, like I'm trying to teach you guys, okay, like this. Okay, my professionals get it because they do it all the time and they do it this way. They write it out, okay, and they're specific because they're detailed people. Okay. Now you can do it too. Anybody can do this. Okay. I've done this with businesses. I've done this with material things. I've done this with money. I've done this with everything. Okay. And it works through your subconscious. So I am so happy and grateful now that What? Now that I'm confident. Confidence is the core of everything because when you're confident, you calm down in here. That's what confidence is. It's a very relaxed inner feeling. That's inner confidence. Most people are too distracted for inner confidence. Most people are too, they get news on TV, they get news scrolling, they get or they get, other things happen, right? Other things in the office happens, things at work happen. Supervisor says something, whatever, and people react to stuff. So some people live reactionary lives, and some people live intentional lives. When you're living an intentional life, and the reason why you should manifest things, or the reason why you should set goals, we could say it that way, is because then your life plays out just like you want it. So, I always show you guys this stuff, right? But, since 2007, my life has unfolded exactly like I planned it. Okay, because I planned it. This is only one. I have like about, I think in storage I have about maybe 8 of these, and it's to train your subconscious. Your subconscious is like a muscle. If you're not doing it, it's not going to work. It's not going to be as sharp. I can manifest things, probably some things in a couple weeks, some things in a couple months, depends. Okay, but your target is what you want to bring into your life. Okay, so I designed my life, not for $1 million. I designed my life for freedom. So I work when I want, right? I have a schedule, so I set certain days. Okay, these days I'm gonna work. These days I'm gonna work on the business. These days I'm gonna work in the business. That kind of thing. So it's more for freedom. Okay, some people want a lot of money. Okay, if that's what you want. Some people just want to be in a log cabin up in the mountains by themselves, right? That's their idea of success. Okay, so they get that. Okay, but you get what you think about the most. So if you're thinking about what you don't want versus what you do want, then you're going to get more of what you don't want. When you start thinking more of, what they call drama, right? So you think of more problems than you think of solutions, or, think of maybe pleasant things. You're going to get more of that. Okay? Whatever you place your attention on is what you're going to get more of. Okay, now, clarity of intention is first, emotional alignment. Okay, now you have to pretend, okay, that you have it. I use the word pretend because people are familiar, but you have to act as if. So there was one client that I had that he wanted this job at an insurance company, and I told him, you have to get dressed every day like you're going to work, like you already have a job. Okay, take your briefcase, whatever, and get dressed and go down to that office building and look at the directory and look at that company that you wanna work for. Okay, and act as if you're already there at that company. Okay, so he did that, and in about a month and a half, he started working at the insurance company. Okay, he got the job. He didn't get the job. He didn't get the position he wanted, but he got in the door and he got a job at the insurance company. Now, how did that happen? That's the superconscious making the way. Okay? He didn't get exactly what he wanted, but do you think he was complaining? He got the job. Do you think he was complaining? No, he was ecstatic. Okay? One of my clients, okay, she had 3 young children, right? She was a single mom, and I felt sorry for her because she was a single mom. And so I told her, I said, here, why don't you write this affirmation? She needed a van. Her van was breaking down. She had young children. She couldn't afford to keep fixing her van. Long story short, 2 months later, she walks in my office. She goes, guess what? I was like, what? My best friend, one of my best friends, her husband's in the military. He's getting reassigned. He has to leave Hawaii. She said I can have her van. I just have to fill out the certificate of ownership. There you go. She got her van. See? Now, a lot of people think that, Only God has this power. Okay, but you need to understand you're a co-creator with God. You're a partner with God. Okay, because you have God in you. God is in here. God is not out there. God is not up there. Okay, if you're at a church that tells you God is up there, in heaven, okay, okay, heaven is in here. Okay, hell is also in here. Okay, because you can live in hell your whole existence. Okay, you can be tormented your whole existence. What's tormenting you? Your subconscious mind. Because it will replay things over and over and over. And that's why people have the same habits that get them the same results, because they don't change their subconscious. Okay, my executives know this. Is this like Neville's teachings? Neville taught it as well. Yeah, Neville taught this too. Yeah, good morning, Flacco. This is subconscious. So it doesn't matter if you're reading Neville Goddard. It doesn't matter if you're reading Joe Dispenza. It doesn't matter if you're reading Tony Robbins. It doesn't matter if you're reading Bob Proctor. There is only the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious. That's all there is. Good day. Good day. Yeah, good day. Hi, Marie. Let's see. Patricia. Good morning, Patricia. So yeah, just put in the chat where you guys are from. Patricia, just put in the chat where you guys are at. I'm in Honolulu, Hawaii, so I'm way over here, out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Awareness of being, awareness. So so part of my training is increasing awareness, Flacco. So awareness of being is something that people get distracted from. Okay, people get distracted away from their awareness, and they become like machines, and that's the hypnosis of society. Oh, you're in Virginia. Okay, Patricia, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Yeah, brotherly love. Is that am I thinking of the right town? Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Pittsburgh Steelers. I know those guys. Yeah. Okay. But anyway, yeah. So, Crystal, good morning, Crystal Lynn. Good morning. And so, when you get too distracted in the physical matrix, you get distracted out of your awareness. Okay? That happens. So, what do? You increase your awareness. You focus in here. Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization. Okay? So your affirmations is one thing. This is just one thing. That's one pillar. Okay, there's three more. There's meditation. Meditation is being still. If you're not being still for at least 10 minutes a day, you are missing a lot of awareness, because awareness just happens. Okay, but in order to sharpen your awareness, you need to listen. Okay, you cannot pray without meditating. Jesus meditated. Okay, Gautama Buddha, meditate. Okay, Krishna, meditate. Okay, all the great teachers, meditate. Okay, all of them. So praying is asking or speaking to God. Meditating is listening to God. You don't have to chant anything. You don't have to do all of that. But you have to be still. Good morning, Karen. God bless you too. You have to be still. If you're not being still, how can you take instructions? Okay? Because when you learn to be still, you learn to receive. You learn to receive intuitive thought and intuitive instruction. Women know this better than men. That's why they call it women's intuition, because women's intuition is sharper. Why? Because they give birth to young, and they have to watch babies. They have to take care of babies. Okay? So their intuition is sharper than men's. The majority of my clients have always been women. Always. I always say that chicks dig me. But the funny thing about women, if a woman knows that you're acting in her best interest, if a woman knows that you're looking out for her, if a woman knows that you're trying to make her confident and showing her these things and like that, they appreciate you and they take care of you, and they become very, very loyal clients. And a lot of women bring their daughters to me because they want their daughters to be confident, because basically men run the world. So, you know, it's a very competitive landscape out there for women in the world, and it's very important that they attain the highest level of confidence possible. Okay, now confidence is not just, you know, oh, I'm confident, I got this, I got that's not confidence. That's overcompensation. Okay, confidence is a relaxed, gentle, easy feeling inside. So love is of confidence. Okay, fear is not confident. Okay, does fear come back and forth? Oh yeah, it's supposed to. Fear is there to warn us. Fear is there for a reason. Okay, but when you live in the majority of fear, or let's say the negative emotions that are reflective of fear, then you have a problem. Okay, then you have a problem. So, emotional alignment, that's okay, act as if. Okay, now mental rehearsal, what is that? Visualization, affirmations, meditation, visualization. Okay, so visualization, what is that pillar all about? Well, first of all, you have to see yourself there. Okay, wherever it is that you want to go, whatever it is that you want to do, you have to see yourself there first. You have to be worthy. You have to see yourself worthy. Okay, now if you can't see yourself there, then yeah, you're not gonna get there. Okay, so how do you see yourself there? How do you how do you how do you visualize yourself there? Okay, well, first of all, look in the mirror and accept this. Okay, a lot of times our self-esteem and our self-image is low. Why? Because through the generations, okay, and this started in the Industrial Revolution, and even before that, okay, but during the Industrial Revolution, when factories were being built, they needed workers, they didn't need thinkers. In Hawaii, we had plantations. There is such a thing as plantation mentality. Okay, on the plantation, they needed workers, not thinkers. They didn't want people to think. Okay, in factories, they didn't want thinkers, they wanted workers. So the idea was to keep everybody in that work capacity and not educate them to put them into a thinking capacity. So what happened as a result? Well, as a result, these things come down the genetic pool. As a result, these things start coming down to where people are humble. Okay. And you always hear that growing up in Hawaii, you always hear that be humble, be humble, be humble. Okay, so the way that they project it onto us is be less than. Okay. There's also some religious things that work against that. He is greater than I. When they should be saying, he is in I. Okay. He is in here. God is in here. Okay. The kingdom is within. It's inside. Humility is not thinking less of yourself. Humility is thinking of yourself less. Putting other people first. Thank you, Flaco. Putting others first. Putting others before you. Sharing. Caring for others. Empathy. Those things. That's humility. Love is humility. If you take that divider like this, right? And these are all the positive emotions, these are the negative emotions. Humility is all of this. It's none of this. None of that. Hi, Jay. And Jay is here. She's moderating. There she is. All right. Thank you, Jay. Thank you for being here. So anyway, and Jay, please put up our website in the feed so people can get a hold of us if they want. So you guys can come on, no strings. I'm not going to sell you anything. You guys can sign up for a free 30-minute session with me. That's what I do in my spare time. Uh, and that's my dharma. Indian people know what that is. A dharma is your mission, your purpose. Okay, the time is now. Would a mental rehearsal of buying a home be living in the home or seeing myself buy the home? It would be going to the open house. It would be talking to the realtor. Okay? So if you want to, so same thing for a car. If you want a car, a brand new car, first of all, define what car you want and then go test drive the car. Because you have to know what it's like. You have to experience it to make it real, if that makes sense. So the mental rehearsal of buying a home is to go to the open houses and see which one you want. So when I bought a home, I didn't really, I just looked at the home as being a dream house, and it was this huge 5-story house, and I didn't know at the time everything that was involved. I didn't realize, I didn't realize everything that was involved with this 5-story house. It was beautiful. It was on this place called Nu'uanu Valley. It was built right on the hillside. And I ended up selling the house 3 years later. Made money on it because it was actually, the value went up during those 3 years. But the moral of the story is sometimes you see something and you go, oh, I want that. And then when you get it, right, it's just another thing. Sometimes it's not exactly what you thought it would be. Okay. Sometimes it just looks good. Sometimes after you get it, it's just, I always tell people, I lease cars every 3 years. I lease cars because of my companies, because we need write-offs. So I lease cars every 3 years. And for the first couple of weeks, it's like, wow, it's exciting, Then after that, it's just a car. It's just a car. I lease expensive cars because I need write-offs. I don't have children. So I don't have a family. So, I need write-offs. So my companies are my children. But yeah, so go to the open houses. The time is now. Go check it out. Check out all the listings in your area. Go and talk to all the realtors. Okay, get the process going because the money will come. Okay, the opportunity will come. The right house will come. Okay, the right elements will come together. Okay, so when I was looking at homes, before I had bought the dream house, okay, I looked at several homes, like a lot. I think it was maybe 6 or 7 houses that I looked at. And something didn't feel right about all these houses. And then the day that I looked at the house that we actually bought, I went during a storm. It was storming. It was pouring rain. The average person wouldn't have gone to the open house. The average person would have gone, we'll go tomorrow. But when I saw the listing, I said, that's the house. That's the one. Every once in a while, I put it up on my Facebook stories. And I saw the house and I said, that's the one. And we went down there in the rain. It was pouring rain. Closed the deal. The rest is history. Thank you, Karen. So yeah, in order to act as if, you have to go through the motions. So before I did my first brand new car in 2007, okay, I had watched the movie The Secret by Rhonda Byrne, the documentary, and I sat on my bed, like with my hands like this on the steering wheel, visualizing a new car, smelling the leather, like, yeah, I smell the leather, that kind of thing, right? I had to imagine all of that. And I didn't really get to the point to buy a new car till one day, a couple months later, I was driving down the highway and I just got intuitive thought. And the intuitive thought was, and I saw the Infinity dealership, and the intuitive thought was go, 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 go. And I went. And the rest is history. There was a whole bunch of new Infinities. Every 3 years I had a new one. So, and then I leased one towards the end, and then I went to another company. But yeah, you have to do that. That's part of the process, okay? So trust the process, because the process isn't here. The process is that you are a human being, okay? You are a human being, but you are made to feel less than. I can't emphasize this enough. You are made to feel less than. If you are in a position where you are being made to fear by someone or something or some organization or some government or some whatever it is, some toxic work environment. I had a toxic work environment. I used to work in a very toxic work environment. And sometimes there was fear, and sometimes there was just bullying, But I had to shield myself from these things. So I had to go in here. Okay? And going in here meant I had to close my eyes, and I had to meditate, and I had to stay still for 5 to 10 minutes a day. Like that. Try it. It'll. Oh, thank you very much. Time is now. Thank you. But yeah, go do that. Go look at homes. If you're an investor, then start writing down the amount that you would like to make out of your investments. Okay? And here's the thing. What you need to do is you need to start with a big number. If you want to make $10 million a year, and I did this on one of my notepads, I don't have it with me. If you want to make 10 million a year, then you write the 10 million figure and you do the math and you break it down and you figure out how much you need to make per hour and then how much you need to make per minute. Okay, because it's easier today to be a billionaire online than it is to be a millionaire. Okay, because things happen like this. People go viral like that. And when they go viral, the money comes. Okay. I just heard a story of this celebrity. I'm not going to name them, but this celebrity retweeted this everyday person's tweet, okay, on X, and they just retweeted it, and that person became a millionaire because that person had a product. So preparation is very important. If you're not prepared, when, let's say, good luck comes, it's not good luck, but I'm just saying, there's no such thing as good luck. When goodness comes, when something comes, and you're not ready, it's going to slip through your fingers. So be prepared. Be prepared. Know exactly what you're going to do with money when money comes. Okay, so that's the visualization process. Now, you have to take aligned action. There are people, Esther Hicks is one, but there are people who say, yeah, Ara, good morning, Ara. Thank you for coming. How you doing? Let me show you who Ara is over here. This is her company. Okay, I'm gonna do this because I promote local businesses in Hawaii all the time. If you want to get a hold of her and you're in Hawaii, or you want to call her, she does readings. She does aura photography. It's 808-476-8190. And she does, let me show you. So she did mine. This is my, oh, that's me. And then like this, see, she does aura photography. That is my throat chakra right there, yeah. And then that's my heart chakra, which is like kind of brighter than the others, but yeah. Anyway, so thank you, Aura Love on Instagram. You can look her up. Anyway, so you have to take aligned action. What is aligned action? Well, when you get that intuitive thought, you need to take action on it. Okay, intuitive thought, that idea that just comes like, hey, maybe you should do this. Do it. Act on it. Okay? It doesn't have to be huge action. It doesn't have to be a giant leap. Don't do that. Take baby steps because you want to feel the way. Okay? Baby steps. Whenever I did something, whenever I started a business, it was baby steps. When I started VMAC Consultants, okay, that's the company that really blew my mind because I was told, speaking truth through love. Yeah, yeah. And I was told that, the how was God's job. I didn't need to know how. And I was told by a Chinese master that, oh, you're good at this, you're good at that, you're good at this, and you're good at marketing. So I decided to take my production company and just re-image it into a consulting company in 2010. And so I did this not knowing where I was going to get a client from. I didn't have any clients. I spent the money. I made business cards. I made envelopes, letterheads, all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. I had no idea where my clients were going to come from. And my first client was a national chain. A national chain of stores was my first client. If you want to look, it's on Facebook. Search VMAC Consultants on Facebook, VMAC Consultants on Instagram, and you'll see our work. Years of it, just years of it. We post our work on there. But anyway, so I didn't know how, right? But I took the baby steps, make the business cards, So this is part of the visualization process. Make the business cards, do the stationery, whatever, make the business plan. Start planning, but you have to write it down. You can't just think it. You have to write it down. It has to go into your subconscious. Okay, I am so happy and grateful now that I have my XYZ company that manufactures widgets. Thank you. Okay, write about it. You write it, think it, and speak it into existence. Okay, if somebody tells you that only God speaks things into existence, they don't know what they're talking about. I speak things into existence all the time. Okay, sometimes it takes a while, sometimes it happens in a couple days, sometimes in a day. It depends on what it is. I have no idea, but sometimes I say something and then I'm like, wow, I was just talking about that and there it is. Okay, it's not magic, it's superconscious. It's subconscious, superconscious, that's all. That's all it is. Okay, now aligned action is even baby steps open doors, okay? Remember that even baby steps open doors. Take a little step towards this, little step towards that. A lot of people push and they push hard. You know what pushing hard does? It creates momentum. It creates forward momentum. And when you keep pushing like this, your goodness is trying to get back to you. But you're pushing, okay? So you have to find your rhythm. Okay, your rhythm is how much you work and how much you rest. How much you work and how much you stop. Okay, because when you're push like this, your goodness is trying to come to you. It's right there. Sometimes it's like right here. Quantum physics tells us that the choices are all here and they're all multiple choice and they're all right there in different scenarios, but they can't get to you because you're pushing. When you stop pushing, the blessings come. Okay, so think about that. It's not about working hard. Okay, you either work well or you can work long. If you want to work hard, you can work hard. Okay, but if you work hard, you're going to get in the habit of doing things hard. Okay, like you're gonna take this and push it over here. I'm gonna take this and push it over there. Okay, that kind of thing. No, because then when you make a mistake, guess what it's gonna be? It's gonna be hard. Okay, it's gonna come back at you. Very hard. Okay, as hard as you push. Newton's third law. Okay, action opposite reaction. It's physics. It's universal law. Okay, but if you take baby steps, a little bit here, oops, oh, wrong step, I'm sorry. Go over here. Oh, okay, keep going, right? things begin to come. Things begin to come naturally. Things begin to play out naturally. Hey, Rancho Man. Good morning. Good morning, you guys. Hey, Phil. Thank you for joining us, Phil. So, you know, you have to develop your rhythm. I'm very aware of my rhythm. I know when I've worked enough. I call it mouse down. I take this mouse and I put it down. Okay, so I have this mouse and I start working and working and working and working. I don't work hard. I never, ever, ever work hard. I work long. I work very long sometimes. And I hyper focus. Okay. But pretty soon, right, when I know that I'm at that point, I need to put the mouse down. I say it out loud. I say mouse down. And I put my mouse down and I get up and I go do something. Okay, it could be a snack, it could be taking a drive somewhere, it could be lying down, it could be whatever. Okay. In my office, I had an office for 24 years in Kalihi. And in my office, I had a couch, and I used to lie down and take a nap. And that was my break. Sometimes my nap was 15 minutes. Sometimes it was half an hour. Sometimes it was 10 minutes. Okay, but naps work because it's a break in the vibration. Okay, if you're push like that, okay, then you're throwing everything off. You're throwing your biorhythms off. You're throwing the rhythms around you off, the vibration around you. You're disrupting the vibration around you. And this is why yesterday we were talking about, like, when you're angry or when you're on a downward spiral, okay? When you're angry and everything is going wrong, things are going wrong, one thing after the other, it's time to stop. But what do we do as humans? We want to hurry up and fix it, right? We want to hurry up and catch up, okay? When you hurry up and catch up, guess what? You keep going down, because it's the energy, it's the vibration. So when you stop, you clear. You eventually clear. Lao Tzu, the founder of Taoism, okay, Lao Tzu, he said, muddy water, let stand, clears. You need to let the muddy water clear. Because if you keep pushing, if you keep going, the water is going to get muddier. And then what do you have? Muddy water. Okay. So it's very important to do that. Okay, now let go of resistance. What's the resistance? Limiting beliefs, doubt, fear, all of that we discussed, okay? So trust, you have to trust that what you want is going to come. You have to believe that what you want is going to come. You don't have to be preoccupied with the hows. You don't have to be preoccupied with how it's going to come. You have to know it's going to come. And that's what faith is. Okay? How do you learn to exercise faith? Observe. Observe. Okay? Think back. It's very hard to discern what is here right now until you look back. Okay? You cannot know where you're going until you know where you've been. Look back. That time that you really needed something, did it show up? It probably did. How did it show up? What did you do? Did you give up? A lot of times when I give up, that's when things show up. Okay? And that's how I know I've been pushing too hard. Okay? When I push too hard and I go, I give up. And I take a nap. And then I get up and there's a contract waiting for me in my email. There's an offer waiting for me in my email. There's a new client waiting for me in my email. There's something, right? Has that ever happened to you where you give up and you go, I can't go on anymore. And you give up, right? And you take a nap or you do something else and then you come back and, wow, it happened. I can't believe it. Just when I was giving up, it happened, right? Okay? So that's surrender. When you surrender, it will show up. And I'm not talking religion, I'm not talking church, I'm talking energy. Everything is energy. You can call it church if you want, you can call it religion if you want. It's this in here, whatever you call this. If you call this energy, if you call this spirit, whatever you call this, the only evil spirits I ever saw were in human beings. Everything is energy. Yep, everything is energy. So if your energy is push, 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 you're keeping your blessings right out here. Okay? Dr. Amit Goswami, and I'll say this again, I've said it on many lives. Dr. Amit Goswami, who is the foremost authority on quantum physics. There's another one, he likes the spotlight, but you hardly see Dr. Goswami. You should look him up. Dr. Amit, A-M-I-T, Goswami. Dr. Goswami said, you Americans have it all wrong in the West. You push too hard, push, push, push. He goes, you don't know your rhythm. He goes, you have to establish your rhythm. But when you get to the point that you push so hard that you just give up, that's surrender, okay? So why not learn to surrender now? Why not learn to surrender before you need to, okay? So work a little and then surrender. Let God do his work. Let source do its work. Let the universe do its work, however you want to say it. I'm not here to tell you what to believe. I'm not here to persuade you in those things. Okay, that's not what I'm here for. But I'm here to tell you that as human beings, we all have the same capability as human beings. We all have the same power. As human beings, we all have energy. And the law of one tells us that we're all connected. And that's why psychics work. That's how psychics work. Psychics work because everything is connected. Some people are sharper with their skills than others. Some people are walking around asleep. Some people are just sleeping. They look like they're walking. They look like they're talking. They look like they're going about their daily job. And they're fast asleep because they're unaware. Once your awareness raises, thank you, Jade. I am getting my signal right now that we're just about out of time, but once your awareness raises, you can take yourself out of the box. Okay, the matrix, the physical matrix is the box. You can take yourself out of the box and look back in, and now there's a different reality. Now you navigate differently, and now your life changes. It will never be the same again. All right, so until tomorrow at 7 a.m. Hawaii time. Thank you so much, Jay. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Ara. Thank you, Alexander. Thank you, Bartholomew. Thank you, user 111, Maria. The time is now. Ara, yeah, Karen. Thank you, Karen. Take care, you guys. And we will leave the